Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on the program. In the story I read before the break, tragedy struck in Yola, the Amos State capital, as devastating floods claimed the lives of at least 23 people. As rescue efforts continue and affected communities count their losses, the governor has vowed that his administration will provide full support to the victims and work to prevent further future disasters. Tonight, let's have that conversation with the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Governor Madrufintiri, Dr. Edgar Amos. Good evening to you, Dr. Amos. Thank you very much for speaking with us at this very difficult time. And I commiserate to the Governor and the people of Adamawa State. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Olajumoke. Thank you, studio. Thank you, viewers across the country. And thank you very much for your commiseration. Thank
you very much. So the governor has confirmed 23 deaths from the Yola flooding. He has also visited the affected areas. He calls it tragic and devastating. Can you give us more clarity on the situation on the ground? What is the current assessment of the damage caused by that flood? How many local governments or communities were most affected? And has a formal damage assessment report been compiled?
Thank you very much. For this particular tragedy, it's mostly in Yola South local government. Although there is a big river that traverses Adamawa State, the river Benue from Cameroon, which traverses a couple of local governments. But this particular tragedy has affected essentially Yola South local government. And 23 deaths is tragic enough. We hope it will stay there, but we have a few missing persons, so the situation might be more than that in a short while if more bodies are discovered. But I think the worst has been recorded so far. We hope there will be no more such. I accompanied the governor in his tour and we assessed the houses that have been damaged. Those who fell ill were all treated and taken either to the temporary ID camp or to their homes. And the situation is truly sad and tragic. 23 lives is quite a huge number by any standards. You're talking about human beings, you're talking about brothers, parents, children, sisters, friends. So it's quite devastating to say the least. But, you know, we are also believers. We also trust in God. We hope God will console and comfort us. But again, although it is described as a natural disaster, in the course of the governor's explanations, you saw that there are human elements that have been brought to bear. And so government intends to address those human factors that either contributed or exacerbated the situation. But certainly it is very tragic.
Very sad situation there. But can you confirm the number or the current number of displaced persons and casualties? And are there concerns that death toll could rise?
It's possible that the death toll will rise because we have a few more missing persons. So to that extent, I wouldn't say it is permanent, it is final, that it is 23. The number of persons in our ID camps is around 600 people. But you know, there are those who stay with friends and family who don't like staying in IDP camps. So the number of people affected is way much higher, is in the thousands. But those in IDP camps is in the region of 500, 600, 700.
Also, I asked earlier if the formal damage assessment report has been compiled.
The technical committee was constituted only today, but even with the tour the governor has made, you could hazard a guess on the extent of damage or what caused the flood, and the extent of damage is quite pretty visible. But the technical committee has been constituted and it has already swung into action. But the report is not yet out. The ATSEMA had also been, Adamawa State in the Environmental Emergency Management Agency has been also on ground, and preliminary assessment has been made, but the final report is yet to be submitted.
All right, 600 displaced persons so far. So how is the state addressing food, water, and shelter needs for these people? Are there any temporary camps set up? And what's the current, okay, you already said 600. You know, we've heard reports that some displaced persons haven't received food or medical aids, days after the flood. Can you confirm if this is true? And what steps are being taken to reach those still in need?
Before then, I want to decry the unfortunate tendency of some of our compatriots who even play politics with human lives. We're talking about human lives that have been lost. Humanity should be brought to bear. We should empathize. We should show sympathy. This is not an opportunity to play politics or to, as it were, get into other uh, dislike or liking the governor or the government and all that. It is quite unfortunate. But immediately how it happened, the deputy governor was on ground, the governor was out of the state, but she mobilized enough resources, engine boats, security apparatus, rescue people, take them to hospital and to the internally displaced persons camps. Kitchens were constructed immediately and food served immediately. Food has been served and is continuously being served in those IDP camps. So it is not true to say that there is anybody that is being neglected. I think it is clearly untrue. And government is, I mean, the governor has been up and doing his, at any rate, these are human beings. So whoever has any role to play in ensuring that he brings succor, our humanity should be able to propel us to do so. Much more a very sensitive government like that of Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintiri. So clearly the governor has demonstrated his empathy, has shown by example from the airport, he drove straight to those areas devastated by those floods, as well as the camp itself. So people who needed help were provided help as and when due.
And talking about support, apart from food, water, and shelter, the governor promised government support. Can you elaborate on the specific types of support being provided? Is there a budget allocated or emergency fund accessed? Will there be any cash support or reconstruction aid for these victims? And what timeline is the government working with for relief and recovery?
These are ongoing things. Funds have been provided, mattresses, blankets, mats, clothing have all been purchased and provided. And there are purchases that are still being made because we don't intend for them to stay long in the camps. Government intends that they will go back as quickly as possible to their places of natural abode. So support is being provided in the context of building materials and whatever support that can be provided to ensure that they go back to their own natural habitat. And these are ongoing things. The budget is being generated and expended on a continuous basis.
All right, Dr. Amos, let's take a break. And when we return, the next question I'll be asking you is how is the government ensuring that assistance is not only timely, but also fairly and properly managed? But that'll be right after this break. Please stay with us, everyone. Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Dr. Edgar Amos, Chief of Staff to Governor Ahmadu Fintiri, is my guest tonight. And tonight we're assessing the level of damage in Yola South after the devastating effect of that flood. Thank you so much for staying with us, Dr. Amos. So how is the government ensuring the assistance is not only timely, but also fairly and properly managed? For those who are skeptical about the level of transparency or have questioned the transparency in how relief materials and funds are being distributed or would be distributed.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of your question. I only heard the last part because initially the reception was very poor. But I heard the aspect where you talked about the transparency in the distribution of the relief materials.
That's the question.
Is that the question?
That's the question, yes.
Okay. Whether it is being done in a transparent manner?
Absolutely.
Clearly. Oh, fantastic. Like I said, the DSS, the Army, the police, the Air Force, as well as our own state government apparatus is fully involved, as well as the local traditional institution. They are all involved in ensuring that whatever is being purchased gets to the victims. So it's quite done in a very transparent manner. At any rate, if you know the signature trait of this administration, transparency and accountability are keyword words that this government doesn't joke with it at all.
So my next question to you, Dr. Amos, is could this disaster have been mitigated? Was there any way this disaster could have been mitigated? Could the government have done more to prevent this disaster? In hindsight, could this disaster have been avoided or better managed? Was the government adequately prepared? I heard the governor attributing the flooding to a combination of intense rainfall and blocked water channels by some residents, which prevented proper drainage or storm water into the river. Were early warning systems in place to alert residents?
The NIMET flood prediction data has been there in the public domain across the country on which states are likely to experience flooding. And Yola being on the floodplain of the River Benue, the risks are there. But let me go back to telling you that there are about 3 or 4 causes of this. The first is rains. Could the government have prevented rainfall? Certainly no.
No.
Could the government have controlled the volume of rainfall? Certainly no. Then there is also the issue of blockage of drainages, canals, and waterways. In which case, if there are people who should have ensured that those who do so are punished but have not been punished, then clearly there is a dereliction of duty in that regard. But you could see from the tour we embarked upon with the governor, there are people who clearly blocked drainages, blocked canals, blocked waterways. And so clearly these are human activities, since you cannot police every single individual. They couldn't have done so with the support of government or with the approval of government. Government couldn't construct canals and channels and then allow an individual to block it. Clearly that is irrational. It doesn't make sense. And now that
let's go
happened,
back. Can you hold on, Dr. Amos? Let's go back to NIMET, because NIMET, I mean, just like you said, NIMET did its own best in ensuring that Nigerians get this early warning. But the state government do its own part in bringing more awareness to the people.
Yes, government has done a lot. Government has called all the strategic stakeholders, traditional rulers, local government chairmen, legislators, and ensure that this message is disseminated, that people who are living on lowlands should brace up, and if need be, move up to uplands. There has been public enlightenment. There have been mobilization of the primary healthcare and health authorities to ensure
that that didn't work. So obviously that didn't work, Dr. Amos, because also government says this happened as a result of intense rainfall. But residents say there is a mining activity going on in Fufore local government area. Whether or not this is legal, you have to confirm that, Dr. Amos. Also, the flood incident has been linked to overtopping of an unregulated dam under construction by a Chinese mining company operating around Uki Hill. And reports say the incident triggered a devastating flow of impounded water downstream, causing widespread destruction in affected communities. Is this true, Dr. Amos?
Although we'll await the report of the technical committee, what we saw with the governor clearly demonstrates that in addition to the high volume of rainfall, people block drainages, and that is the cause. That's basically the cause, not the dam. There is no evidence to show that the dam has been responsible for the flooding that occurred. What is at our disposal, information at our disposal at the moment is that there is high volume of rainfall, and then people block those drainages where the volume of water would have been evacuated. This is the information at our disposal.
Yes, but some persons had gone to these sites and have come back with a report. And also, just to let you know, in case government does not know about this, that visit revealed a lack of government approval, no environmental safeguards on professional construction techniques, all of which, contributed to this catastrophic failure. So just in case government...
I was in the meeting today. Government is aware. Government is aware that there is no environmental impact assessment. There is no integrity test for the dam. The construction of the dam did not follow the specifications or expert advised, and so on and so forth. So we are looking at it, and our assessment at the moment is that the dam could be a potential threat in future. And so measures must be taken to ensure that the dam does not become a threat in the future. But at the moment, in the case of the flood that has occurred in Yola on Sunday, it is not as a result of the dam. But it poses a risk that if measures are not taken, it can become a risk in the future.
All right. So if government finds out that this information is true, what happens next?
What I can assure you is that one of the virtues of Governor Ahmadu Fintiri is courage. He has taken very bold and courageous decisions. He doesn't brook any nonsense and will not spare anybody or anything when it comes to the lives and livelihoods of the people of the state. So should anyone be found culpable, or should anything be found to threaten the life of people, I can assure you, you can quote me on this, that government of Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri will take action to ensure that that must be removed, must be taken out of the way.
All right, so whether it was as a result of rainfall or ongoing mining activity or some illegal construction of a dam somewhere, there are concerns that such disasters may happen again, especially with climate change. People feel this isn't the first time Yola has been hit by flooding, yet there seems to be, so little progress in improving drainage and infrastructure. Again, the governor has identified such structural deficiencies and says it must be addressed moving forward. Is this just another of such promises?
Maybe by next week we should be able to have another conversation. I can assure you that the governor has directed that all houses that have blocked drainages, all shops, all structures on the way of those drainages be pulled down. And they will be pulled down. This I can confirm to you.
All right then. So do you have a message for residents still living in high-risk areas?
The message simply is we should be aware that climate change is real. The risk of flooding, especially those who are living in flood-prone areas, is also real. And if need be, they should relocate to safer grounds. But clearly, governments, the traditional institution, the local government authorities should also brace up, in addition to those measures and enlightenment campaigns that are being carried out. We should also have preparations in case it happens, so that we will mitigate the consequences and implications should that happen. And natural disasters are natural disasters. They do happen in any part of the world. There are things we cannot control, but clearly we can also make preparations to mitigate the implications and the consequences should they arise. But clearly let them have faith and confidence in this administration that this is their government and this government is there to protect and promote their living standards.
All right. In 1 minute, Dr. Amos, when that Kebbi State disaster happened, the chairman of that local government accused the administration of Governor Nasir Idris of negligence, understandably because it was not the first time. And despite warnings from relevant agencies about the impending flood, many state governments do not take precautionary measures. We're used to reactionary measures. We start running up and down after losing lives. For you, what role can communities play in reducing flood risk in the future? In 1 minute.
The one way is to ensure that waterways are not blocked. Waterways and canals and channels should not be blocked. People should also, even where there are small culverts and gutters, should not throw garbage in them so that they are not blocked. If drainages are open, water will find its way to its own natural courses. So people should know that they also have a role to play in ensuring that the canals and channels are not blocked.
All right.
But should anybody block it, let government know it, and government will deal decisively with whoever does so.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Edgar Amos, Chief of Staff to Governor Ahmadu Fintiri. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
And that's the heartbreaking reality tonight. 23 lives lost in the Yola flood, families shattered, and communities left, grappling with the aftermath. Governor Fintiri has pledged government support, but for many, the road to recovery will be long. As relief efforts begin, the need for unity, compassion, and swift action cannot be overstated. Our thoughts remain with all those affected. But please stay with TVC News for updates. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch a repeat program of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.